On behalf of the University, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you to this congregation for the conferment of degrees here in our Barney Hall. This is a very special day in our university calendar because it's a graduation day, and that makes it a day of celebration for our graduates, for all the family and friends, and for all of the staff of the university. And I can't think of a better venue in which to start that celebration than here in the Barney Hall. In the United States, they refer to these events as commencement ceremonies, as they use them to signify the commencement or the beginning of a new journey, as opposed to an ending. And it's in this spirit that we also wish to celebrate graduations at the University of Strathclyde. Now, in a few moments, it will be my privilege to cap each of our graduates as their name is called out and they come up on stage to receive their awards. The capping tradition has its roots in ancient China, and it's recognized as a rite of passage and as a mark of achievement. And for each of our graduates once capped, this also signifies that they are now part of a community of scholars at Strathclyde that can stretch back over 200 years to the Scottish Enlightenment. So they'll be in very good company. At the close of graduation, we have a reception in our nearby Lord Todd building to which everyone is invited to come along and celebrate. We hope to have an academic procession over to the Lord Todd building. This will very much depend upon the weather, and we'll get an update on this towards the end of this morning's proceedings. In the meantime, I do hope that you enjoy the ceremony, and when you see your loved one come up on stage to receive their award, I would strongly encourage you to celebrate. These occasions don't come round very often, and for many they are once in a lifetime, so please make the most of it. I now formally declare that this congregation for the conferment of degrees is open, and I invite Professor David Hillier, the Executive Dean of Strathclyde Business School, to present our graduates to receive their awards. Thank you.
Vice Principal, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for Research in the Department of Accounting and Finance, Santosh Korala. Biwesh Nupani. Junyu Wu. For the degree of Master of Science in Finance, Anshaj Chaturvedi. Sotirios Giarledis. Tung Duong Ha. He Jun Wei. Si Mei Hong. Sanika Inamdar. Ja Jun Lin. Malika Joshi. Deepesh Kandawal. Philip Cristianto. Mikidadi Urususi Mupunda. Yvonne Edom Mensa. Pipatpong Priyendanon. Vatsalya Sachetti. Arash Senubari. Yuheng Shi. Muhammad Al-Ghifari Suefihara. Thanat Sombun. Kutia Sukgon. Francisca Tando. Ketwento. Georgios Xanthopoulos. In International Accounting and Finance, Keiking Kai. Natida Chayavong. Julie Chalabresi. Chen E. Jen. Ro Yi Dai. Yi Xingan. Zhang Yu Hu. Shu Ki Lu. Jajun Ma. Zhao Yi Mai. Sintuja Manoharan. Jean-Frédéric Michel Nathaniel Mazin. Paron Pusayabapul. Naitik Vini Thaka. Tong Zhao Zhu. Zhao Jing Wang. Yi Jing Wen. Zhi Tian. Rui Chun Zhu. Nutrakrita Yingvulusupraselt. Papichaya Yong Pisampop. In Investment and Finance, Joshua Ackers. Bilal Ali Asgar. Shubangi Bansal. Joyce Prathista Ben-Hur. Nicole Bugeja Attard. Hanyut Kai. Dasso Francesco. Ritian Faruja. Yu Bin Feng. Hugh Ferguson. Martha Gatt. Hu Chi Xuan. Huang Chung Che. Musab Iqbal. Sebastian Jukel. Razki Mohammed Kurnyawan. Rui Lu Li. Nikita Lisogorsky. Yu Liu. Kutsaishi Malunga. Meng Ni. Michael Chiminem Ubasiolu. Sheila Ose. Ingrid Elene Svenby Osmundson. Jonathan Richard Reed. Wipawi Supiyafun. Han Wang. Pierce Robert Watt. Manking Wu. For the postgraduate diploma in finance, Amar Mahmood. Syed Nabar Ali Shah. For the degree of Master of Science in Investment in Finance, Bowen Zhang. Marian Chatoro. Takudzwa Murphy Naboth Muravu.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and most of all, Strathclyde University's newest graduates, it is my pleasure to once again welcome you to our graduation ceremony here in the Barony Hall. Quite rightly, our graduates have been centre stage, and I would like to begin my address by congratulating all of you once again on your academic achievements. Your hard work has paid off, and this has now been recognised in front of your families, friends, and the staff who taught and supported you during your time at the university. We celebrate your efforts and your achievements. Very well done. Now, in a short while, at the close of graduation, you may be asked to join the academic procession as this leaves the Barony Hall. This invitation actually symbolises the fact that you are no longer students, but full members of the academic community of Strathclyde, a community that numbers over 180,000 individuals. The class of 2019 is graduating at a time of considerable change in Scotland, in the UK, and internationally, and there is no doubt that challenges lie ahead for us all. However, as members of the Strathclyde family, you belong to a large, growing, worldwide community with a shared ethos of tolerance and understanding, and a desire to make a positive difference. I hope that the memory of today is something that will stay with you wherever you go and whatever you choose to do in life. We will keep in touch with you through our alumni team, and I would ask that you also keep in touch with us. Let us know what you're up to, what you think about what we're doing at the university, and what you could do to help future generations of students. As graduates of a socially progressive university, you have a competitive advantage, having been equipped with the skills, know-how, and capacity to absorb knowledge, together with the ability to positively influence and shape the world around you. In Scotland, we are fortunate in having a higher education system which is internationally respected, and as a society, we are quite right to invest in it. Education broadens the mind, and it creates opportunities for individuals and for society. The opportunities that education gives each of us also carries with it a responsibility to use what we have learned wisely and for the good of others. A sense of duty should come readily to graduates of this university. As Strathclyders, we only have to look to the achievements of those who have gone before us for our inspiration. To John Anderson, our founder, who established this university for the good of mankind. To the world's first oil man, James Paraffin Young. To the missionary and explorer, David Livingstone. To John Logie Baird, who did such pioneering work on the development of television. In the present day, we look to Dame Eilish Angelini, a pioneer in Scottish justice as the country's first female Solicitor General and later the first female Lord Advocate. And to Sir Tom Hunter, one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Scottish history and a philanthropist who uses his wealth to the benefit of others. Now, I'm sure that you have been given lots of advice on how best to plan your life. Some of this advice you'll rightly ignore, some you may accept, but mostly you'll have to learn for yourself. The Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson put it well when he said, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." Now, to reach this point in your lives today, each of you will have travelled a different journey. For some, the path will have been relatively smooth, and for others, this may have been more challenging. However, I am certain of one thing, that none of you would be here without the active support of your family and friends. They have picked you up when you have been down, and they have encouraged you when you've needed it. And many will be here today, proudly watching as you cross this stage with broad smiles and the odd tear in their eye. Now, they're celebrating today because you carry with you their hopes, their wishes, and confidence for a successful career. For the past half hour or so, their applause has rung in your ears as you each in turn cross this stage to receive your awards. I would now like to invite all of our recent graduates to show their appreciation for the support that they have received from their family and friends. I touched earlier on some of the key figures who have helped to create and shape the University of Strathclyde. And you can tell a lot about the values of an organisation by looking at its roots. Strathclyde traces its lineage back to 1796, when John Anderson brought it into being, the only Scottish university founded during the Age of Enlightenment and embodying the Enlightenment principles of reason, tolerance, and equality. John Anderson's belief in useful learning and his commitment to taking knowledge and using this for the greater good is the motivating force which gives Strathclyde University its momentum today. In many ways, John Anderson was ahead of his time as he advocated in the 18th century the education of both men and women of all classes. And this vision is just as important today. And as a socially progressive university, we want the talent of our students to be developed to the highest level for the benefit of society. This can be seen in our pioneering law clinic, where our students provide support and representation to people who cannot afford legal advice. It can also be seen in our Technology and Innovation Centre, which is transforming the way in which we collaborate with business, industry, and the public sector to bring global competitive advantage to Scotland. And this is a tangible sign of the university's commitment to world-class research and ensuring that outcomes have maximum benefit to society and to the economy. We are a university for innovation, seeking breakthroughs which will address the most urgent challenges facing the world. Through new and effective medicines, purposeful approaches to tackling climate change, new technologies to address energy poverty and food poverty, by informing policy that addresses public need and makes for a vibrant and fair society, and by offering much needed independent insight into complex political, economic, and social issues. These represent a small sample of the many contributions being led by our world-class staff and students in taking new knowledge and using it to solve problems in industry, in the classroom, and in the boardroom. And we continually strive to enhance the student experience and invest in our campus, creating facilities like our £31 million Strathclyde sports building to support fitness, health, and well-being, our new £20 million district energy network, which is reducing our carbon footprint, and we are investing over £60 million in a new teaching and learning facility in the heart of the campus, and are halfway through a £1 billion campus development programme. Other highlights over the last year have included our Principal and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Sir Jim MacDonald, who studied as an undergraduate and postgraduate in this university, who has been appointed the President of the Royal Academy of Engineering, the first Scot to hold this prestigious post. Strathclyde Business School's Breaking Barriers programme has enabled young people with learning disadvantages to gain university and work experience, and was recognised by winning the Youth Employment Award at the recent Herald Diversity Awards. Business School postgraduate students have developed a business plan to transform the 85-year-old Queen Mary, the world's last steamer driven by turbines, to become the most commercially viable following restoration. The Business School Scottish Centre for Employment Research has been awarded £1 million from the Economic and Social Research Council to investigate management practices and their effect on innovation and productivity. Strathclyde University has been named in the Sunday Times Good University Guide as the Scottish University of the Year for 2020. And the Business School has launched a new master's programme in financial technology, FinTech, in Bahrain. And this is the first programme of its kind in the Gulf region, and it will be delivered in partnership with the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance. Now, these are just some of the many contributions being made by our staff and students across Strathclyde Business School. And the university has been increasingly recognised as a place where things happen. And this is why our graduates are so highly prized by companies and organisations looking to recruit the best talent to drive their businesses forward. Our success is in no small part due to the collective efforts, talent, and commitment of our staff, the 3,900 colleagues who deliver our vision as a leading international technological university, and like me, they're very proud of your achievements. All of our students learn how to be innovative, enterprising, and creative, and they make a real difference when they go out into the workplace. So wherever your career takes you, always remember that as a Strathclyde graduate, useful learning carries with it responsibilities that go beyond academic scholarship. And finally, let me offer my sincerest congratulations to you all once again on your achievements, and I hope that you enjoy the remainder of what is a very special day. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes the formal part of this morning's ceremony, which I hope you've enjoyed and you'll take away very many happy memories of a wonderful event. I've been given the universal thumbs up from the back of the hall, which says that the weather has stayed pleasant enough that we can have an academic procession. In fact, I can actually see the sun shining, which is not atypical for this time of year in Scotland. So we will have an academic procession from the Barony over to the Lord Todd. I would remind you that we've got a reception there, so please follow us over to the Lord Todd after the academic procession has passed, and we shall see you there for some refreshments. I now formally declare that this congregation for the conferment of degrees is closed.